Hello, writers. Welcome to a writer's workshop. Today's strategy is going to be really suited to the drafting stage, and it's called Be Patient, Go Slow. Now, this strategy just really means making sure that you are going slow through your story, making sure that you don't just brush over events, especially if they are really important events. You want to make sure that you provide as much detail about that event or those events as you can so that you're going to keep your reader interested. Now, to be patient and go slow, we make sure we don't jump too quickly from one idea or one event to another. We make sure that we play the moment slowly through our mind, just as if we are there in that moment or in that story. We make sure we get down all of the important details. We can describe the setting, we can describe what the characters are feeling, what they're doing, and we can use this strategy to build up suspense. And we know that when we do that, we keep our readers engaged. Let's have a look at an example of this. So over to the left here, you can see an example. We went to the zoo, we saw a lot, and then we left. I don't know about you, but I don't really like this one because I'm actually left feeling like there's a lot more information that this author could tell us. What do they mean by we saw a lot? I know that when you go to the zoo, there are a lot of things that you could see, but this author hasn't actually told me. And if this is the way that they're going to write, I don't want to keep reading their text. So let's have a look at how we can use our strategy to be patient and make sure we go slow and describe some of the important things in or that this person might have seen at the zoo. We went to the zoo on our class field trip. We paid our admission and each got a stamp on our hands as our ticket. I got a zebra. Then we went to the first exhibit. I got to see monkeys. They were hanging all over the place. After that, we went and witnessed the lions being fed. They were ferocious. So there is an example of how we can take this simple event here and turn it into a lot better or a lot more interesting event where this particular part here explains some of the things that you could see at the zoo. Now, I think you could even go a bit more descriptive with this. So what I started to think is I thought, are there any parts of my draft in my story where I've brushed over an event that I could probably be a bit more patient and go slow? And here's one of the events that I found I brushed over too quickly. So this, just a bit of context. Before this, I had explained that Miss Munro was the crankiest teacher in the world, and my character had to get past Miss Munro in order to go and find where Mr. Sutton was. So it was fairly a major event in my story, but I felt like I just brushed over this particular part. So what I originally had was this. I had to come up with a plan if I was to get past Miss Munro. The plan worked, and I was at Mr. Sutton's house. So what I felt like I was doing is I was leaving my readers questioning what the plan was, how the plan was executed, were there any hiccups, was it dangerous, those sorts of things. So I then went back and I rewrote this particular event again. And let's have a look what I came up with. This is the event that I was able to come up with. Already, you'll notice there's a lot more writing. So we know that this strategy is going to allow us to write a lot more. And we know that when we write a lot more, we tend to give a lot more details. And that's going to help engage our readers. So this is what I was able to come up with. You can see the first line is the exact same line as my really basic event. So I've used that to kickstart me off. I had to come up with a plan if I was to get past Miss Munro. I noticed a little preppy walking towards the office with the black bag. I quickly caught up with him and told him I'd walk him to the office. Well, turns out he didn't want my help. He thought he was a big boy. As soon as I tried to grab the black bag out of his hands, he screamed his little lungs out. I didn't know such a little person could make such a big sound. This was not good for me. Before I knew it, Miss Munro was standing at the office doors. Her arms were crossed, and she was doing this thing she always does, sort of looking down but glaring out the top of her glasses. If you can't see them, lady, don't wear them. I had to think fast. Oh, hi, Miss Munro. I was just helping this little boy with the black bag, and then I'm taking him to the toilets. It wasn't very creative, but it would work as the toilets were just past the office, and then I'd be in the clear. The little boy kept saying he didn't need to go to the toilet, but I just reassured Miss Munro that I'd better take him just in case. Couldn't have him peeing in the classroom. Miss Munro was a stickler for cleanliness. She took the bag and let me pass, telling me to hurry up and get back to class when I'm done, as learning started 5 minutes ago, blah, blah, blah. I stood at the front of the toilets and shoved the preppy in, looking and smiling at Miss Munro, giving her the thumbs up. She shook her head and went back inside. That was it. The plan worked. I wasted no time and sprinted down the road towards Mr. Sutton's house. So there you go. I've had a go at trying to be a bit more patient and go slow through this event. Instead of just saying I had to think of a plan, the plan worked. I actually explained how my character worked through that particular event. So have a go at this in your narrative or in any story. If you have details where you think you have brushed over too quickly, see if you can go back and go a bit slower and making sure that you're providing all of the details to engage your readers.